Hey, Attack on Titan manga final chapter. Please don't spoil. I'm not a manga reader. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite animes. And today I will review Akudama Drive. Akudama Drive is, I think, an original anime, meaning that the anime is not adapted from any manga at all, even though a manga is being adapted from the anime now, the other way around, and it is from Pierrot Studios in collaboration with 2Kyo Games, a video game production company in Japan. And it is written by Kaiho Norimitsu, who has previously worked with the writer of Danganronpa on Danganronpa 3. And this is Akudama Drive, 12 episodes in one season. And given the very crazy, weird cyberpunk aesthetics, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna check out this anime. And boy, was I disappointed. Boy, am I disappointed. This anime, I seriously thought I'm going to enjoy this, but no, I was wrong. It's actually kinda mediocre. Essentially, Akudama Drive is about a bunch of Akudamas, aka criminals, working together and doing crimes in a cyberpunk society. But ultimately, what they're really trying to do is that they're trying to transport two kids from point A to point B while the authorities, aka the police, are trying to catch them. And that's basically the plot for the entire story. And premise wise, this is actually not a bad idea, but the real problem lies in the execution. But before that, let's talk about the art style. I think the art style is amazing. It is fantastic. It is fancy as hell. It is often extremely colorful and vivid, lots of lighting, and lots of just very gorgeous and beautiful compositional framing, and the colors are just bursting in the frame. It often reminds me a lot of Blade Runner and the sequel 2049 in a really good way, and I just really enjoy that. However, the OP and the ED, they're horrendous. They're fucking horrendous. The opening tries to do this wacky kind of digital punk rock thing, and it just falls flat on its own face because not only is it completely offbeat and the melodies are super annoying, and then we got these air horns just in the OP, and it's just so annoying. The song, it's just so fucking annoying. And then we have the animation of the OP itself, which is not bad. And the animation of the ED is also not bad, maybe a little drab. And the song for the ED is this J-rap poppy kind of song, which totally does not fit the tone of the story at all. It's just such a blab ED in my opinion. Then we have the story. And I'm disappointed to say that there's nothing all that special or crazy about the story because ultimately it's just Cyberpunk Suicide Squad. And that's what the story kind of is, at least for the first 6 episodes. The first 5 episodes are bland as hell. They're bland as hell. And I'm not saying that they're boring. In fact, they're very much not boring. They're super eventful, they're very fun, action packed, but it's bland as hell and largely contributed by the fact that the characters are flat and one dimensional and boring. First of all, we have the main character who is this very innocent, nice girl who got into the police station because she forgot to bring money after she bought some takoyaki. So the police had to catch her for buying stuff without money, without paying, because she forgot to bring money. And she stumbled upon a team of Akudama's AK criminals who are trying to rescue one of the top Akudamas of the entire city of Kansai, the entire Kansai, Cyberpunk Kansai, and which is, by the way, the prefecture that has Osaka and Kyoto in it. And There's another prefecture called Kanto, who is also in the story, which is also in the story, and Kanto is basically the prefecture around Tokyo. But anyways, back to Kansai. Uh, the main girl, she doesn't even have a friggin' name. She ended up in the Kansai police station, and then she stumbled upon a bunch of other criminals who are trying to rescue the top criminal in the Kansai police station about to be executed, and that criminal is Cutthroat, and he's supposed to be super duper powerful and super duper dangerous and insane and whack, and the girl just stumbled upon them, and then there's this other guy who's basically the Japanese delinquent with the cross-on hair, and he also stumbled upon them, and together they form a team of 7, and they are chosen to be the Akudamas who are going to transport some kids from point A to point B. And yeah, the characters are bland as hell. First of all, we got the courier, the guy on the motorcycle. He is a really serious person. He doesn't crack jokes. He takes his job very seriously. That's it. We have the doctor, who is this ara thick girl who literally does not die. I don't know what's thicker, her body or is it her plot armor? Because she literally does not die. She gets split in half and she stitches herself together and survives. She doesn't die, and all she does is, oh, so seductive, oh. And then we have the brawler guy, who is this really optimistic, really shouty, excited guy who's always in for a fight. Yes, fight! I love fighting! Fight, 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 fight! And then we have Cutthroat, who is this creepy, dangerous, insane, ooh, killing. I love killing. Blood. I love blood. Red color is so cool. And, yeah, well, I forgot all the other characters, basically, because they're all bland. We have Hacker Guy, who is short, just a kid, and he's also a really bland character. Ooh, hacking. I'm hacking into the system. Throw me some numbers. Ooh, this is so fun. Games. Yeah, every single character is bland and flat as hell. And usually when that happens, I would at least hope to see them interact with one another, but they don't really do that. I mean, they do, but usually when they do, they would just crack a couple of jokes for comedic effect, and then they would continue fighting. Yeah, none of these characters actually develop, other than the delinquent character. And this is probably why my only favorite character in this anime is the hoodlum, aka the delinquent character, because he's the only character who actually shows change. Anyways, not only do we see a bunch of characters, we also don't really get to see Act 1 before Act 2. It's almost like the inciting incident immediately began in the first scene. We don't know what is considered normal for the main character's life. Thus, we don't know how the story is supposed to progress and what kind of story are we looking forward to. Thus, it's way less enjoyable. And then, you know what's even worse about this anime? It is the incredibly irritating bunny and shark cartoons. Whenever they want to explain the lore and history of the anime, the whole anime would just turn into bunny and shark. Ohayo, Usagi-chan desu, and then Same-kun desu, and then they would just start blabbering exposition, just explaining everything to us, plain and simple, every single time. And the fact that they had to make this into a silly, cartoony thing just makes it 10 times more annoying. Okay, I get it. The lore and the history of this anime, of the story, is important, sure, but for a 12-episode long story, you didn't really have to go this far, man. You would need a lot of exposition in order to do that. Anyways, the story finally gets better on episodes 6, 7, and 8, where a big incident happens and the characters split up, which is the first time in the entire story where I'm like, ooh, the writer is finally attempting to write something good. Guys, listen, if you have a lot of characters in your story, the best thing to do is to split them up. And a lot of writers do that. I mean, in Avengers Endgame, there are like 20-something protagonists. So what do? You split them up. We have Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in one storyline, and then at the same time, concurrently, we have Captain America and Black Panther together. Split them up. A lot of TV shows do that. The king of splitting up when it comes to TV shows is Game of Thrones, and then we have The Walking Dead, where every major incident also results in basically all the characters splitting up. If you want the story to develop in an interesting way, split them up. Therefore, the characters split up on episodes 6, 7, and 8, and the story finally gets somewhere interesting, and I really like that. There is a slight change in the main character, which I also really appreciate. Then we have episode 9, and when I watched episode 9 yesterday, I was like, ooh, finally the story's gonna get better from here. No, it does not. So instead of continuing the story as it already is, the writers had to pull this stupid uprising bullshit. So suddenly, the entire city decided to riot on the streets because they were afraid of the Akudama. The 7 Akudama, who's just trying to transport some kids. And to be honest, this plot idea is a great idea. It is a great idea. It is great in concept. Except you only have 4 anime episodes left. How are you going to pull something like this off in 4 episodes and wrap it up? And to make it worse, we have the entire city uprise against the Akudamas, and then suddenly the police, aka the executioners, decide to kill the rioters, Tiananmen Square style, and then the rioters decide to rebel against the police force, and then there's all the other stuff with the Kanto district and the Akudamas, all in 4 episodes. It's overly rushed, and honestly, I don't care for any of this at all because it is overly rushed. Again, in concept, it is great. But come on, 4 episodes, and you pull this shit. And then there are these character changes that just don't make sense at all, like the executioner girl, the police girl, who originally is kind of timid but determined. One incident later, she just becomes really cold-blooded and serious. I like character changes, but this just doesn't make any sense at all. It just doesn't really build up at all. And then another character change is the chief of executioner, who before really hates the criminals, and then suddenly when they're rioters, she just suddenly has a change of heart, and she's like, you know what? Let's just kill all the citizens in the city. Where did that decision come from? And then on episode 11, the first half of the episode has this weird parallel timeline bullshit that's just so gimmicky. And the second half is where the Akudamas finally made it to the Kanto district to realize that it's not real. Everybody's living in a simulation in the Kanto district, which is, again, a cool idea. But it's just so overly complicated how they try to explain the quantum computer and using the kids as vessel, and then like this and that and this and that, and how they try to rescue the kids from within the quantum computer with the hacker transporting its soul into the computer. It's a mess. It's frankly a mess. However, the story does end off pretty impressively on episodes 12 and 13. We have very bold and memorable and powerful and unexpected and wacky as hell character death scenes that I actually enjoyed and I thought are pretty cleverly written as well. And yeah, I also kind of understand what the story is going for. I realized that the story didn't really plan to have a season 2, so they decided to do some really whack stuff with the world and the characters, and I kind of appreciate that. But still, a majority of the anime is just kind of crap. The only thing that really carries this anime consistently throughout is the art style, which I think is very fancy and good looking and satisfying. The music is mediocre. The voice acting is just fine, and yeah, again, there are some good scenes in the story, and there are a lot of amazing ideas in the story. But to cramp it all up in 12 episodes, and to execute it in a way that the characters are so bland in the first half, just made this anime kind of underwhelming, unfortunately. Yeah, my favorite episode is probably episode 12 or 13. My least favorite, episode 9. That one stinks. Yeah. I'm giving Akudama Drive a strong 5 to a light 6 out of 10. So, have you watched Akudama Drive? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Next anime I'm going to review is going to be ReZero Season 2 Part 2. And then afterwards, Dorohedoro, because why not?